What's going on, Crafty Nistas? I was recently inspired by a card on Miss Edith's Scrapbooking with Me channel. She did a card for Father's Day, and I thought it would be cool to flip the switch and make the card feminine. She made a toolbox card, and I thought it would be cool to make a makeup case card. So I cut out these scraps of makeup items from my Cricut. This was using the Forever Young cartridge. I just cut up the images and then just put together the little flowers or whatever that I thought that would go with it. There was a pattern, but I didn't have the actual book out at that time. So I just kind of put together some little fun pieces. You can also use stickers, die cuts that you cut out from the Big Shot, anything that would kind of be feminine that you can put up in the makeup case. I thought that this would be fun for this card. I used some shiny silvery paper for the little mirror to make it look like you're getting some kind of reflection on it. So now I'm just going to ink up some stamps. I'm going to ink up two stamps. I'm going to use one for the outside image and then use one sentiment for the inside of the actual card. So once I get these inked up, I'm going to just take some paper punches and then just manually punch those out. So I have a little saying here for the outside of the card and then another for the inside of the card. So next I'm taking my paper trimmer and I'm going to go ahead and cut a piece of cardstock, 8.5 by 11. I'm going to cut one side at 8.5 and then I'm going to turn it and then cut it at 11 inches. Word to the wise, I wouldn't use a heavy cardstock. This is some super bright pink that I love, the color. A heavy cardstock that I'm trying to use up, but it took a while to actually press down and get my card really flat. So unless you wanted to have it hold it overnight and press it down, I would use just a regular medium weight cardstock when doing something like this. But I'm going to take my cardstock after I have it cut to the size I need. I'm going to take my scoring board and I'm going to score first on the 11-inch side. I'm going to score this at 2.5. Then I'm going to score it at 4 inches, then at 7 inches, and then again at 8.5 inches. Then I'm going to turn it one turn on the 8.5-inch side, and then I'm going to score at 1.5 inches and then again at 7 inches. So once I get that all scored, I'm going to put away my trimmer and then I'm going to start folding up the card and then I'm going to burnish those score lines that I have, getting everything all nice folded and reinforced. So once I have everything folded, I'm going to go ahead and look at the corner pieces of my card and I'm going to make a line up 2 squares. I'm only going to cut out the last square, the first square that you'll see, but I'm going to cut up to two lines. And you'll see here, I cut out that square. There's going to be 4 of them. You're going to save those. You're actually going to use 2 of those. So now I'm just going to fold in and burnish the card. You're going to need those flaps all nice and secure because you're going to put your decoration on there. And you want to make sure that you get those 2 lines to meet up real good. And if they don't, you want to go ahead and try to get them to do that as well as you can. So I'm just pulling those together and getting my line straight. There I go. So now you're going to need to make a point in the middle. What I'm doing is making sure it ended up being about 1.5 inches. And so I'm just making sure that on both sides I have 1.5, and I do. Then you're going to flip that over and make sure you make that point in the middle again, and then that you have the 1.5 inches on each side of your card. So once I have that complete, I'm going to go ahead and make a diagonal line at the point where that meets. And here I did not do this, but you want to go ahead and make sure that you also probably go ahead and score and burnish or get that to fold in. You're going to be able to fold that in better. So here I am taking some score tape and I'm going to, on the side where you have those flaps folded up in, you're going to go ahead, put on the inside of those flaps, you're going to put some glue or either some score tape. I like to work with score tape. So I'm going to go ahead and get the score tape, rip it off, and start, as you can see here, forming your box. You're going to form those on the inside so that your flaps will be up, and then get that shape together. So here I left that out, but I cut up some flaps for the inside. I'll give you the measurements in a minute, but you're going to work on those flaps that we cut out. You're going to make a 1-inch measurement on 3 sides, and then you're going to which we'll use to cut out the handles. See, I used that shape there, and I ended up cutting out my handles with that. I didn't use the pink, excuse me. I used the bling. I used that to shape that. So I liked that better, and I used those two handles for that. So the size of that is 2.5, 2 1/4, excuse me, by 5 1/4, 2 1/4 by 5 1/4 for those inserts. And I ended up using black on my inserts. So once I got that down, I went up and put the handles on the back. I used the score tape also on that. And I wanted to put those in the middle and also play around with that to see where I wanted my sentiment. So I'm going to go ahead and ink up my sentiment, put some black around that to try to bring that out a little bit. And then I'm going to put it down and put some dimensionals on the back of this so that I can pop that up. Once I get that dimensionals on there, I'm just going to put that down and place that on the card. So now I cut out a piece of paper 1 by 2, and then I folded it in half. Then I went on, after I folded, I glued it in half, and then I used my corner rounders and went on, and now I'm working on gluing it down. So I ended up using the Tombow glue and glued that. I also put some score tape on the bottom before I put the Tombow glue and glued that center in. Then I just held it down to make sure that it's not going anywhere and it's going to stay in place, because you don't want that one side to ever move. You're only going to lift and unlatch one side of that card. So my other sentiment that I'm going to put inside, I just used, I ended up using a 2-inch circle, black, and then my 1.5-inch circle for my sentiment. And then I just used some extra bling that I had from the handles, some of that scrap bling, and just played around with that to see where I wanted it. Kind of wanted it at the top. That way I could have my little makeup pieces that I worked on earlier just to flow around the card. And then I didn't have the right size Velcro. Actually, I seen Dollar Tree had some really small Velcro in, so I have to make a mental note to pick up some of that because I ended up having to cut my Velcro to fit in there. It was a little too big. Then I used a pop of bling, and then I glued that on with some Tombow for my handle. And then this is what I did to hold it down. I ended up holding that down overnight. That way my card became flat. And so as you can see, that shakes around, and then now I have a flat card. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, come on over and join our channel. See you later, Craftinistas.